The video opens with the sound of rushing water and a wide cinematic shot of a narrow village canal, cutting the village into two halves. On one side, an elderly woman stands with a bundle of vegetables, looking helplessly across the water. On the other side, a small boy waits for his mother, fear and confusion on his face. The old, broken wooden planks that once served as a crossing sway dangerously in the current. Suddenly, one plank snaps and falls into the water, creating a loud splash. People step back in fear. At the edge of the canal, a small puppy sits silently, his fur slightly muddy, his ears lowered, and his eyes filled with concern as he watches the struggle. The camera slowly zooms into his eyes while the village noise fades. A calm but emotional voice says, "In a quiet village, divided by a flowing canal, a tiny puppy noticed a problem that everyone else had learned to live with." Quick flashes follow children taking long muddy routes, farmers lifting heavy loads to find safer crossings, elders turning back because the journey is too risky. The puppy stands up, takes a few hesitant steps toward the canal, and looks back at the people, as if asking a question no one expects him to answer. The scene gently slows as morning light fills the village. Birds chirp, smoke rises from simple homes, and life continues as usual, yet the canal remains a silent barrier. The narrator explains how the water has always been both a blessing and a curse, bringing life to the fields but separating families, delaying schoolchildren and making daily tasks harder. The puppy is introduced as a familiar presence in the village, born on these dusty paths, fed by kind hands, and loved by children who play with him after school. He has no home of his own, yet he belongs everywhere. He is often seen sitting near the canal, watching people struggle, tilting his head as if trying to understand why crossing must be so difficult. One day, after watching a child slip and cry on the muddy bank while his mother waits helplessly on the other side, something changes in the puppy's eyes. The camera lingers on his small paws, stepping closer to the water, his reflection trembling in the canal. The voice softly says, "This is the moment when a simple puppy stops being a witness and begins his journey to become something more." As the sun rises higher, the village slowly comes to life. Smoke curls from small houses, goats wander through narrow paths, and children laugh as they run towards school, only to stop when they reach the canal. The narrator explains how this water brings life to the crops, but also separates neighbors, families, and friends. For years, the villagers have learned to live with this problem, telling themselves there is no solution. The puppy is introduced as part of this everyday life. He was born here, raised by the kindness of strangers, fed with leftover bread, and scratched behind the ears by smiling children. He belongs to everyone and no one at the same time. Often, he sits near the canal, watching people cross with fear or turn away in frustration. One afternoon, a small girl slips on the muddy edge and begins to cry. Her mother rushes forward but cannot reach her without risking a fall. The puppy runs toward the child and stands beside her, barking softly until others come to help. As the girl is lifted safely, the puppy looks back at the canal again. The camera lingers on his reflection in the water, shaking with the current. Something changes inside him. This is no longer just a place to sit and watch. In his simple heart, a new idea begins to form, even if he does not yet know what it means. The story opens with the restless sound of water flowing through a narrow canal that cuts the village in two. Early morning mist rises as people gather at the edge, waiting for a safe moment to cross. An old man grips his walking stick tightly. A woman pulls her child back from the slippery bank, and a schoolboy stares across the water, knowing he will be late again. A loose wooden plank creaks, bends, and finally snaps, falling into the canal with a sharp splash that silences everyone. Fear spreads across their faces. From behind a pile of stones, a small puppy watches everything. His fur is dusty, his paws muddy, but his eyes are wide and alert. He tilts his head as if trying to understand why everyone looks so worried. The camera moves closer to his face while the village sounds fade away. The voice gently says that sometimes the smallest hearts notice the biggest problems. Quick moments flash by, people turning back. Long walks under the sun, tired faces accepting this struggle as normal. The puppy stands up, steps closer to the edge, and looks at the broken crossing. He does not bark or move away. He simply watches, thinking in his own quiet way. In that moment, the audience feels that something important has begun, even though no one in the village realizes it yet. That night, rain falls heavily on the village. The canal swells, carrying away the last weak pieces of the old crossing. In the morning, the problem feels bigger than ever. People gather, shaking their heads and saying a bridge would cost too much, take too long, and require help from outside. As they talk, the puppy listens from a distance. When everyone leaves, he approaches the canal alone. He picks up a small stick in his mouth and drops it across the narrowest part of the water. It floats away immediately. Undeterred, he brings another stick, then another, dragging them with effort. His first attempt is clumsy and hopeless. The sticks scatter and the current wins every time. A few villagers laugh kindly, calling him silly. By evening, the puppy is tired, his paws sore, but he returns again and again. At one point, a stick snaps and scratches his leg. He limps back and rests under a tree, rain clouds forming again above him. Soft music plays as he looks at the canal, eyes filled not with fear but determination. He could walk away like everyone else, but he does not. In his own way, he decides that trying again is better than giving up, even if no one believes in him yet. The next day, a young boy notices the puppy struggling with a rope left behind by fishermen. Instead of laughing, the boy helps him pull it closer. Soon, another child joins, then a farmer brings wooden boards, and an elderly man offers advice. Slowly, the puppy's effort becomes the village's effort. A montage shows hands working together, tying ropes, placing planks, and steadying each other. The puppy runs back and forth, barking excitedly, as if guiding everyone. The rain returns suddenly, threatening to undo their work, but no one leaves this time. Together, they hold the bridge steady until the storm passes. As evening falls, the final plank is placed. Silence fills the air. The bridge stands, simple but strong. Everyone looks at the puppy. With careful steps, he walks onto the bridge first. The camera follows his paws as they touch each plank. The bridge holds. Cheers break out, tears fall, and laughter echoes across the water. The village is no longer divided. That night, a small sign is placed nearby, honoring unity and the puppy who inspired it. In the final moments, life in the village feels lighter. Children cross the bridge without fear, elders walk slowly but confidently, and farmers carry their loads with smiles. The puppy rests at the center of the bridge, watching the people he loves move freely from one side to the other. The narrator reflects that greatness is not measured by size or strength, but by heart. As the sun sets, warm golden light covers the bridge and the puppy's calm face. He yawns, closes his eyes, and rests, knowing he has done something meaningful. The story ends by reminding the audience that change often begins with a simple act of care. And sometimes the truest heroes walk on 4 small paws. As the day slowly fades, the village settles into a peaceful rhythm it has never known before. The canal still flows calm and steady, but it no longer feels like a barrier. The bridge stands quietly, carrying footsteps, laughter, and hope from one side to the other. Children run across it without fear. Elders pause in the middle to rest and smile, and neighbors stop to greet one another, something they could rarely do before. At the center of it all, the puppy lies comfortably on the warm wooden planks, his eyes half closed, his tail moving gently as familiar voices pass by. No one calls him a hero out loud, yet everyone knows what he has done. The narrator softly reminds us that the biggest changes often begin with the smallest hearts, and that courage does not always roar. Sometimes it simply keeps trying when others stop. As the sun sets behind the village, golden light reflects on the water and the bridge, creating a scene filled with quiet gratitude. The puppy lifts his head one last time, looking at the people crossing safely, and then rests again, content. The voice concludes by saying that kindness can build bridges where strength cannot, and that one small act can bring an entire community together. The screen slowly fades to black with a final message. If this story touched your heart, remember it the next time you see a problem everyone has accepted, because even the smallest soul can inspire a world to change.